Hey guys, nice to see ya. I don't know if this is being recorded. If it is and someone's seeing this class later, I'm Rachel, physical therapist and Pilates instructor over with Agile Physical Therapy in Palo Alto. Super excited. I've been doing this class for, gosh, the better part of the past 7 years. 45-minute full body exercise class. We're going to work from head to toe, a little balance, a lot of core, a lot of hips, a lot of butt muscles working today, a lot of arm stretching, upper body stretching. So if anything at any point does not feel good for you, anything that we're doing, absolutely stop. We flow through the class. So we're not doing a million of any particular exercise. So if one doesn't particularly work well for you, even with some modifications I try to give, absolutely pause, take a few deep breaths, close your eyes, and join us at the next sequence. So let's get moving. We're going to start standing up on our mat. I have mine laid out lengthwise. The only piece of equipment that you might want besides that mat might potentially be a little rolled towel to put under your knees when we are on hands and knees later on. But let's go ahead and get started. I'll start my timer so I keep us on track. All right, we're going to start with our feet hip width apart. So each heel is lined up with its corresponding sit bone. Okay, let's stand up nice and tall, getting our weight centered right over the front of the ankle joint. And maybe if you feel good and centered here already, go ahead and close your eyes and just feel the mat under your feet. Feel your heels, feel your big toe at the base and that pinky toe at the base, pressing firmly into the floor, making a nice little triangular base of support. Your arches might be touching the floor. They might be a little bit lifted. Maybe we play around with that. Now you could have your eyes closed or open for this part. Maybe think about scrunching your toes into the floor and feeling what that does to your arches. Curl those toes back towards your heels. You'll feel those arches lift up a little. Those foot muscles are going to help us with our balancing that we're going to be doing toward the end of class. So it's nice to let them warm up, get them grounded, get you in your body. All right, we're going to relax those toes. Now let's shift our weight back toward our heels. Feel how the whole front of the leg activates. And let's shift the weight toward our toes. Feel how the back of the leg activates. Let's rock back and forth from the heels to the toes. Keep that going. And as you do, let's place our hands right on our midsections. The index finger and the middle finger are going to be forming a little diamond around your belly button. And from here, you can press the heels of your hands into the area right above those hip bones. You might feel a little bit of activity in those core muscles, those midsection, as you shift toward the end ranges of your base of support. Just by virtue of holding you up against gravity, those muscles are working a bit. Let's shift our weight back over the ankle joints again. We'll take our fingertips to our waistline and shift the weight from foot to foot. And now we press the thumbs into the back side of the waistline, the fingertips into the front side of the waistline. And again, you should feel some tightening, some activity in those muscles as we move from side to side. You'll probably feel a little bit more in the front on the side that you're bearing the weight on, and maybe a little bit more in the back on the side as you move away from that leg. Let's now make some little tiny circles around that base. The big goal here is to really keep the toes and those heels on the floor as we go. That'll keep the activity here in that core and in that upper part of the pelvis versus making your toes do all the work. Let's circle the other way. Take it around for 4, moving from the ankle joints. Here's 3, here's 2, and here's 1. Let's shift our weight back to the center of the ankle, soften up those knees. We can shake them out a little bit. Let's take our hands down by our sides. We're going to roll those shoulders back in circles, up to the ears, down to the hips, back toward each other. All right, as we continue to roll, let's bring those feet away from each other a little bit. We'll point those toes out toward each of the front corners of the room. Settle your weight into the heels and let's soften up those knees a touch. We're sending those tailbones and those sit bones all the way to the floor now. Draw your belly gently in towards your spine like you're tightening a little seatbelt of muscles at the waistline. And let's breathe in. We can take those arms up and overhead. Take them through a range that feels good. Inhale. Exhale, arms come down by our sides. We're going to repeat that a few times. Inhale, bringing those arms up. Exhaling them down. One more time, inhaling. Let's take those arms up overhead. We're going to pause them in a Y shape. You should feel a little bit of opening through that armpit, through those sides. Drop the shoulder blades down. Bend the elbows if you need a little more slack for your shoulders. And we're going to take some side bends. Reach up and over with the crown of the head reaching toward that top corner of the room. Inhale up tall. Exhale over to the other side. Feel how your feet press into the floor a little bit asymmetrically as we shift that upper body from side to side. Nothing below that belly button is actually changing position here. Muscles are working, but those joints aren't moving. We're going to take it side to side like you're a tree swaying in the breeze. Here's 4. Up and over for 3. Keep that belly drawn in. Here's 2. And one more time. Reach those hands up toward that corner. We'll take them up to the ceiling again. Straighten out those knees. Let's bring our arms down. We can shake our knees out a little bit as we take a quarter turn so that we're facing lengthwise on that mat. We're going to be making our way down to the floor. So if you want to get your little towel roll, you're welcome to do it now. Let's pause here. Feet are going to be, again, hip width apart. Soften up the knees. And this time we're going to fold from our hips and take the crown of the head forward and that tailbone back. So we're making a little hinge with our hips. Pause at that very first point that you feel a stretch behind those thighs. You might be up at 45 degrees. You might be all the way parallel. It's up to you, whatever's working. We're going to let those arms hang down toward the floor. They're going to be vertical. Let's swing them around a little bit. Use your body to move those arms. Picture an elephant swinging its trunk. Let's come back to the middle and let's swing those arms side to side. Cross one over the other. Keep that belly drawn in. If you need a little more support, bend the knees a little bit, send your weight back towards your heels just a touch. You'll feel those butt muscles working. Alternate, cross the arms for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fingertips are gonna reach toward the floor. Now we're gonna row. Keep that belly drawn in, squeeze your shoulder blades, bring those elbows in by your trunk, and then let them float back to the floor. Squeeze, release, squeeze, and release. Repeat for 4 and 3. Shoulder blades together for 2. Hold the squeeze on that final 1, and we're going to press those triceps, straighten the elbows, bringing the hands to the wall behind you, and then bend the elbows, forearms hang toward the floor. Squeeze, release, straighten, release. Elbows are tucked in by the sides. Here's 4. Here's 3. Press for 2. Press for 1 and hold. We'll take a big breath in here. As we exhale, we'll bring our hands toward the floor. Let's bend those knees, bend forward just enough that we can get those palms on the floor. And we're going to walk ourselves down to that mat on all 4s. If you do want to have that extra padding, take your towel roll or double your mat up just a touch. Press the balls of the feet toward the floor as best you can. If that doesn't feel great, the top side of the feet can press. We're going to hold here and move through cat and cow. Curl that belly to the ceiling. Look toward those thighs. Release, control that belly toward the floor, tailbone toward the ceiling for cow. Curl, reverse to cat, release to cow. One more time here, curl to cat, release to cow. Take it back to neutral, and then that upper body stays still as we wag that tail side to side. Fold a hip toward a shoulder, and then repeat on the other side. You'll feel a little compression, a little activity on one side, a little stretch on the other. Wag it for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Coming right back to the middle, let's turn the tops of the toes down, feet together, knees apart, press your bottom back toward the heels, and you are welcome to walk those hands toward the front of the mat. Keep your elbows straight until it doesn't feel good to do so. Then you're welcome to bend those elbows. We're going to float that forehead down to the floor, and maybe again, we can inch those fingertips a little closer toward the front of our mat. Feel that stretch through the armpits, maybe feel that stretch through the side or the back of the rib cage. All that whole area is fair game. We're going to take a breath in. Exhale. One more time, big breath in. Exhale. This time, let's lower those forearms to the floor, bending the elbows if they're not already bent. We're going to shift our weight over those forearms. The upper arms are vertical. And let's take our legs back behind the body so we're resting on those upper thighs. Once we're here, press those shoulder blades away from the center of your back and draw your belly gently up toward the spine. We're going to hold here and send our breastbone slightly toward the front of our mat. A little bit of extension, a little opening through that upper back, a little opening through the chest in front. Take a big breath. Exhale. One more time. Hold that stretch. Big breath in. Exhaling. Let's bring that body down to the mat. We're going to turn onto our backs. And let's bring our hands down by our sides, keeping those knees bent, and we'll line our heels up with our sit bones. So hips, knees, and feet are equal distance apart with those toes pointing directly forward as best we can. Big breath in. As we exhale, nod the chin gently toward your neck. Drop your breastbone down toward the mat. And let's take that belly and anchor it firmly but gently down toward the spine. You should feel a seatbelt of muscles tightening right between those two hip bones. We're going to picture a clock face on our pelvis and abdomen, 12 o'clock by the breastbone, 6 by that pubic bone, 3 o'clock toward the screen, 9 o'clock toward the other wall. keeping everything else nice and still. Chin down, breastbone down, shoulder blades pressed down. We're going to shorten that pubic bone toward that breastbone, flattening the low back. 12 o'clock. Release, send that tailbone and that pubic bone forward toward the floor. 6 o'clock. Curl to 12. Release to 6. We're moving through a range of motion that works for you. It could be millimeters or slight degrees of motion, or it could be all the way going through a curl, going through an arch. Let's rock at 12 o'clock. Rock it to 6. We'll take it back to neutral, a comfortable position. Big breath in. Exhaling, we'll gently draw that belly back toward the spine, and let's rock that pelvis toward the screen. 3 o'clock. Away from the screen for 9. Rock it toward, lift that opposite hip toward the ceiling as we take that hip closest to the screen down toward the mat. Reverse to 9. One more time each. Again, just like we did in standing, feel your feet and your legs pressing a little bit differently into the floor, but they're not moving. Shift at 3 o'clock. Shift it to 9. Take it right back to the middle. Big breath in. On the exhale, that belly stays down, that mid back stays anchored to the floor, and let's arc those arms up to the ceiling. We're going to squeeze those shoulder blades down toward the mat and then press them forward toward the ceiling. Wrap them around the front of the body. Bring those blades down, press them forward with an exhale. Inhale, blades down, exhale and press. Keep that shoulder blade pattern going. And with that belly drawn down, we can bring one knee up to 90 degrees with that other shin parallel to the ceiling. If you want to take this up a step further and can keep that belly drawn down and under control, we lift the other leg up to 90-90 tabletop. Want to almost pretend you're balancing a vase of flowers on each shin, so we keep it nice and still as those blades move up and down. Move the blades for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Let's anchor those blades to the floor. If you do need a kickstand, you're welcome to bring it down. 1 foot. We're going to arc the arms forward and face those palms to the floor, stretching our hands toward the wall in front of us. You should feel some underarm activation as we do so. Keeping those knees and thighs and feet in a position that's working for you. We nod the chin. Maybe we curl that upper body up. Let's pat our hands up and down like we're bouncing some little basketballs at our sides. Inhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, and breathe it out. Maybe we straighten our legs to the ceiling. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Keep it going at your own pace. We're thinking about breathing in for 5 counts and out for 5 counts. If you'd like to extend those legs forward, you may. We could always step it back by adding that kickstand back, or maybe even bringing that second leg to the floor. Breathe it in, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Let's flip those palms up. We're going to press the air to the ceiling for our last 3 breaths. Inhale, breathe it out. Here's 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Last time, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, breathe it out. Pause where you are, flip those palms toward the floor. We're going to bring our knees back to tabletop. Curl that upper body down if it's been lifted. And we're going to take both feet to the floor and press our palms down into the mat as well. Big breath in, release everything. Big breath out. Drop those shoulder blades to the mat. Again, big breath in. Exhale. Nod the chin, draw that belly to the spine, and we're going to rock our knees toward the screen and away for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's take those knees to the ceiling. We'll pull the knee farthest from the screen into the chest. Stretch that opposite leg out forward, lifting that heel up and stretching those toes toward the wall in front. We can hold here, or we can nod the chin and lift that upper body. We're going to take that lifted leg out toward the screen and back to the center. Repeat. Out to the side, back to the center. Twice more. Take it side to side. Last one. Stretch that leg forward and we'll make some circles on that wall in front of us. Twice more. Pause, big breath in. Exhaling, we'll circle the other way. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bring that upper body down if it's been lifted. And we're going to switch. Pull that opposite knee in. Press the other leg forward. Hold it there. Nod the chin again. If you'd like to raise that upper body, you can. We'll take that lifted leg side to side. Good. Twice more. And 1. Stretch that leg forward, lower it down. We're going to curl that upper body down and take that bent knee and wiggle it across the body. Give it a little wiggle. Lift that hip up off the floor just a touch as we press that supporting hand into the mat. We'll come back to the middle. Let's switch up those legs. Keep the belly drawn in as we pull the opposite knee in, and we'll slide that other leg out nice and long. and pull that bent knee toward the screen. Here's 4. Here's 3. Last 2 and 1. Pull it right back to the center. Hands come down. Let's extend that knee. We're going to stretch that leg toward the ceiling. Keep the back of that thigh nice and active. Hold it there. Let's flex and point. Notice my knee's not quite straight. I'm keeping my thigh as vertically oriented as I can, but I don't want you to feel like you're fighting your quad. If you feel like you can't get your knee any straighter, but that quad is really shaking, bend that knee up. It's okay. We're going to point those toes to the ceiling and float those arms up as well. And let's take that lifted leg side to side, out to the wall, across toward the screen. Keep those hip bones pointed to the ceiling like headlights and keep the back of the pelvis anchored into the mat. One more time, side to side with that lifted leg, and we can move to circles. You want to almost get the sense that you're stirring that thigh bone in its socket a bit. Good. Pause at the top. Take a breath. As we exhale, we're going to circle the other way. Toes reach up to the ceiling. Twice more. One more time. Bring those toes up. We'll hang on behind that thigh. Again, draw that knee into the chest. Let's switch them up. Pull the opposite knee in. Press that other leg forward, tightening up that thigh and drawing the back of the leg into the mat. And we'll take our hands back by the sides. Belly draws in, and let's lift that other knee. Bringing that foot toward the ceiling. Again, try not to fight your quads. If you need to have a little bend, that's okay. We'll drop those blades down, and let's take our lifted leg side to side. Play around with how much pressure you feel like putting through the floor using your hands. It's not cheating, it's just giving you some feedback, which sometimes helps you get to muscles that wouldn't have activated if those arms were off the mat. Now we can float those arms to the ceiling. Once we have those muscles tapped in and they know what to do, take that leg side to side. Sweep those toes to the ceiling and we'll move to circles. Stir that hip in its socket. Toes reach up through the rafters. One more circle, pause at the top, big breath in. Exhaling, we'll go the other direction. Circle for 4, for 3, twice more. And last one. Let's bend that knee to tabletop. Hang on to that kneecap, give it a little support there. We're going to keep our bellies drawn in, slide that opposite knee bent, and then we bring the other one up to meet it. So we have our hands we're using our hands like little slings. Hold on to those kneecaps. Draw that belly down. Give yourself some support as you draw the navel to the spine. And then if you need a little more support, we can bring those knees in a little closer to our chest. Hold it there. Arms float to the ceiling, and let's drop our blades to the floor for support again. Big breath in. As we exhale, that arm closest to the screen comes back overhead. Stretch the opposite leg forward. And let's go ahead and switch through at your own speed. Pull and press. Pull and press, lengthening your hand as far away from that outstretched leg as you can possibly get it. Switch it here for 4. Inhale up, exhale away for 3. Inhale up, exhale away for 2. Inhale up, exhale away for 1. We're going to hold those arms up to the ceiling now. Bend the opposite knee in so it meets the other leg in tabletop. And let's press those hands into the floor as we extend our knees, bringing those feet toward the ceiling. Again, find that first stopping point where you feel a little bit of resistance or a stretch through the thighs. Don't fight that extension with your quads. Do the best you can here. We're going to keep that belly drawn down, and let's tilt that pelvis slightly toward 12 o'clock so we flatten out that back just a bit. We can press our hands into the floor for a little bit of support, and we're going to circle those legs in opposite directions of each other. Take your time here. We're really moving out of that hip joint, trying to focus on keeping that trunk and pelvis as still as we can keep them. Maybe we want to challenge it a little bit. Maybe you make that circle a little bit bigger. We could always bend those knees, shortening that lever. It's almost going to feel like a little breaststroke if those knees are bent. Let's circle twice more in the direction we're moving right now. Pausing at the top, we'll take a big breath in. Exhaling, let's circle the other way. Sweep it around for 4. Here's 3. Last 2. And 1. Let's bend to tabletop. Pull those knees into the chest. Bring them slightly away from the center of the body. Pulling those knees toward the armpits. And we'll rock side to side. Massage out that back. Buy yourself a little bit of break time. All right. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Big breath in. Big breath out. We'll pull those knees back to the center. Bring those legs back up to tabletop and the arms come up to the ceiling one more time. We'll exhale, dropping that chin, lowering those shoulder blades to the floor, and really, really anchoring that belly back down toward our spine. Flex up your feet, and we're gonna march our leg. We can just do little heel taps, little marches. One heel comes down and lifts, and then the other heel comes down and lifts. Let's do a few of these here. Keep that upper body nice and still. Keep those arms nice and still. We can add some complexity now. One heel comes down and up. The other heel comes down and up. Both heels come down. Both heels lift to tabletop. Repeat. One heel comes down and lifts. Opposite leg comes down and lifts. Both heels come down. Both heels come up. Let's add some arms on if you'd like. One heel comes down. Lift it up. Opposite heel down. Lift it up. Both heels come down. Arms come back. Inhale them back up. Let's repeat that one more time through. One heel down. Inhale, lift. Exhale the other one down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, arms back, heels to the floor. Inhale them back up. All right, let's pull those knees into the chest. Give that body one rock to each side. Pull them back to the center, and we'll take our heels down to the floor, lining them up with our sit bones again for bridging. So for the bridges, we want to try to keep our hips, our knees, and our feet equal distance apart from each other. And we want our arms resting comfortably by our sides. We're going to set the chin down toward the neck and leave it there. We're going to press the backs of those shoulders down into the floor and leave them there. And we're going to set that belly drawn back toward the spine. All right, let's take a big breath in. As we exhale, press those heels firmly into the mat, lifting those glutes up. Lift up until you feel, again, that first resistance point. Thighs might be resisting. It might be those hamstrings, in which case I want you to lift your toes up and press a little more firmly through your heels. Let's bridge back down. Reach those bottoms up and then control them down at your own speed. Try to get as much pressure through the heels versus the toes as you can. And if you do tend to cramp in the hamstrings, lift the balls of the feet all the way up off the floor. You can press those heels toward the front of your mat, which takes it out of your hamstrings. Lift and lower now for 4 on my count. Here's 3. Twice more. We'll hold that final one up there. Lift those hips, keep them right where they are. We're gonna rock that pelvis on a stable trunk and stable legs. That hip closest to the screen comes down toward the mat. Reach it up with a breath in and exhale the opposite hip down. Inhale, lift, exhale, rotate. Inhale, lift, exhale, rotate. Let's take it side to side for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Lift those hips up again. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bridge it down. We'll move through 12, 6, pelvic clock. Give those glutes a little reprieve. If at any point you feel your low back when you lift up those glutes, don't lift up quite as high. You can probably find a range to move through that will feel okay. All right, let's take those hips from 3 to 9. Bring them back to the middle. I'm going to inch my heels a little closer to my bottom for a little better leverage. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bridging up. We're going to leave those hips at that highest mark we can. And we're going to lift our heels, go onto the toes, and then lower those heels. Keep those hips lifted. Up and down on the toes for 8. For 7, keep those knees in line with your hips. Here's 6, 5, 4. Last 3. Last 2. Press those heels into the floor. Let's pulse those glutes to the ceiling. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Breathe it in. Exhale, bridge it down. Release the glutes at the bottom. We're going to rock those knees side to side for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Take those knees right to the ceiling. We have one more round of bridges to go. We're going to march through these. Big breath in. Exhale, press that belly down, press through those heels, and lift those glutes up. We're going to hold here, keeping those hips as stable as possible. Option 1 is to lift just one heel. Keep up on those toes. Take the heel down and lift the other up and lower down. We can move through there, or we can lift that knee up into tabletop, lifting the foot up off the floor as well. Press through whatever's working for you. We're going to alternate for 8, 7, 6. Keep reaching that stationary knee closer to the wall in front of you. 4. There's 3, 2, and 1. Press that final heel into the floor. Take a big breath in. Exhale, control that body down to the mat. Release the glutes at the bottom, and we're going to cross that ankle closest to the screen over to the other knee. Press that knee out to the side till you feel a stop. If you'd like to add, we can lift into figure 4. That's up to you. We could rock the body slightly away from that screen. Take a breath. Breathing out, we'll come back to the middle. Bring that foot down, unwind. Cross that opposite heel to the knee, closest to the screen. Press that knee out to the side. Find the stopping point. Lift into figure 4 if you'd like, and we'll take a big breath in. Exhaling, we'll rock that body slightly toward the screen, getting into those rotators of touch. One more big breath. Exhaling, let's come right back to the center. Pull those knees into the chest, and let's take our feet to the floor and our hands, the heels of the hands, right to those hip bones. We're going to rest those upper arms on the mat. Heels press into the hips, and we're going to widen our collarbones away from the center of the body. That'll let us keep those shoulder blades down without feeling like we have to pop our ribs up off the floor. We're going to keep those rib cages nice and anchored down as well. With the heels and the hands resting on those hip bones, let's straighten one leg out along the floor. Keep those hip bones nice and still. You can use your hand to monitor, and we can inch that opposite leg out. Maybe again, both legs get straight. If you need them bent, it's perfectly fine to keep them bent. We're going to take those arms to the ceiling, take a big breath in. And as we exhale, take them back overhead. Keep those elbows straight, just like we did with child's pose at the beginning of class. Try to take those arms back as far as you can with straight elbows. And we're going to draw our shoulder blades down toward our feet. You'll feel some muscles working through those sides of the trunk and through those armpits. Hold those arms right where they are. Keep that belly drawn down, and see if you can draw your lowest ribs down toward the floor as well. That'll give you a little bit bigger stretch through those side muscles. Big breath in, big breath out. Let's lift a foot up and down. Maybe we just unweighted an inch or two. Do your best. We're going to walk those feet out. Keep it going. Hips are facing the ceiling. Belly button stays still. Walk the feet out for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Inhale, reaching those hands back overhead. Exhaling, we'll take it out on a T. Those hands could be on the floor. They could be up a little bit higher than trunk height. My chest is a little tight, so my arms tend to float up a little bit higher. We'll take a big breath in this T position, and then exhaling, let's bring our hands down by our sides, bend up those knees, and we're going to roll over to hands and knees. So again, if you do want extra padding, go ahead and grab it now. All right, set up nice and tall here. Wrists and shoulders, knees and hips are lined up. That towel rolls right at the top of the shin, where your shin is right below that kneecap. And we're going to hold here. Let's keep that belly drawn in, and we're going to squeeze our shoulder blades together behind the back and then press them toward the floor. Squeeze them together, press them forward. Little blade push-ups. Elbows stay still. Even if it doesn't feel great to lock your elbows out, it's okay if they're bent, if they stay in that same amount of bend throughout that shoulder blade motion. Good. Press those blades to the floor. Hold it here. Keep that trunk nice and still. Again, picture that vase of flowers that we imagined on our tabletop shins earlier. Picture it moving to the small of your back. You want to keep it nice and still. We're going to take that hand farthest from the screen. Lift the hand up. Tap it to your opposite shoulder. Float it back down. Switch it up. Opposite hand to shoulder. And let's alternate. Take it side to side. Feel how your trunk has to respond in order to keep you in that nice neutral position with that trunk and pelvis facing the floor. Good. If you want to make this more challenging, walk your body forward a little bit. We can move ourselves toward a little bit of a longer lever, a plank on the knees. We could even try up in a plank on the toes if you're feeling adventurous. One more lift on each side. All right, let's come back to hands and knees from wherever we were. We're going to do a few more shoulder blade push-ups, squeezing and pressing, and then we'll move on to single arm push-ups. Press those blades to the floor. Hand closest to the screen comes right up to that thigh. Squeeze that supporting shoulder blade back toward the body, and then press it forward toward the floor. Squeeze it towards your spine, press toward the floor. Twice more, squeeze and press, squeeze and press. Repeat on the other side. We'll take that hand down. Opposite hand lifts up, place it on your thigh. And again, squeeze and press. Squeeze and press. Try to keep both shoulders level as best you can. And if you need that second hand down, it's completely fine. Do your best. Last two. Last one. We'll take that second hand down, rock your bottom back to the heels, come down to the forearms, give those wrists a little bit of a breather, shake them out. We can clasp those hands together and roll them in circles if you'd like. All right, big breath. And then as we exhale, we'll come back up to hands and knees and hold. Draw the belly in, press those shoulder blades to the floor, and we'll move that leg closest to the screen back behind the body, lengthen it out to the wall, and then stretch the opposite arm forward toward that wall in front of you. Switch through at your own speed. Imagine again that that vase of flowers is balanced in the small of your back. Hardest part to control, I think, is bringing that knee back in. Try as best you can to keep that pelvis nice and level as you bend your knee in. Sometimes a little more knee bend is helpful. Let's pause with that next diagonal. Hold that leg where it is. Shift your arm. Take that other hand down to the floor. Shift away from that free leg. And maybe we move that opposite arm up, reach it in front. Let's shift those arms again. Keep that leg nice and still. Try to keep that object balanced on your back. We'll shift one more time. Hand comes down, knee comes down. Let's switch it up. Opposite leg back. Arm comes forward. And let's shift, switching our arms. Lift that opposite arm up, or even just come up onto those fingertips. Shift and lift. Shift and lift. Good. One more time. Let's take that hand down, bend up those knees, wag your tail side to side. Take it back to the center for a cat and a cow. We'll take it to neutral and let's bring our forearms down to the floor. Hold them right where they are. If you need to clasp your palms or double one fist over the other for a little more support, you can. You could also place your forehead right on that fist. We're going to keep our knees bent. Let's walk our legs out. We're going to take one leg up to the ceiling, float it back down, switch legs. The goal here again is to keep that trunk and pelvis nice and still. So I guess that base could be balanced on your bottom this time, right at the base of that pelvis. Good. Alternate here. Lift and lower for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Hold that leg up there, hamstring curl. Straighten and bend that knee, heel to the bottom. Keep it going. Good. Bend that knee to 90 degrees. Pulse to the ceiling. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Float that knee down. We'll bring that opposite leg up, keeping the knee bent for starters. Reset the belly to the spine. Straighten and bend that knee for hamstring curls. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Keep that knee flexed. Pulse to the ceiling. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's float that knee back down. Feet together, knees apart. We're going to press that bottom back toward the heels. Straighten out those elbows. Flex through those shoulders. Bring in the hands forward as far as feels comfortable to you. Let's draw that forehead to the floor and wiggle those armpits down as well. Even if your elbows are bent and your hands are by your side, you can still think about wiggling those armpits down. Let's walk our hands toward the screen. Move one hand over the other as we take a breath in. Exhale, let's walk the other hand over to the other side. Take a big breath in. Breathing out again, we'll walk those hands forward. Drop those forearms down. We'll shift the weight over the forearm like we did in the beginning of class. And let's come back and rest on those upper thighs. This time we're going to tilt that pelvis toward that 12 o'clock position. We're going to keep that belly drawn in toward the spine. So we're almost resting toward our knees more than those upper thighs. Hold it here. Squeeze and press those shoulder blades again. Squeeze and press. Let's do a couple more. Squeeze and press. Hold it here. Lower those hips slightly toward the mat. Keep that belly drawn in. And we're going to bend and straighten one knee. And then bend and straighten the other. Kick those heels toward the bottom, lengthening out through the quad. You'll feel the hamstrings, back of the thighs do some work. Kick and switch for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's lower here. We'll drop that pelvis down toward the mat. Hands come right underneath those shoulders. We'll push ourselves back up to hands and knees for one final set of cat and cow. Curl and release for 3. Curl and release. Here's 2. Curl and release for 1. All right, take it right back to neutral. We're going to fold ourselves up to a long, tall kneeling position. Let's hold it here. All right, let's make a quarter turn toward our screen. If you do, again, need more padding, double that mat up or grab your towel roll. We're gonna hold here. Let's face our palms toward the screen. Rotate those thumbs and almost bringing them back toward the wall behind you. It really opens up through that outside part of the shoulder. We're gonna think about drawing the belly back and taking those collarbones away from the middle of the body. Hold here with that belly in. We're gonna make a little snow angel for jumping jack type motion. Inhale, arms come out. Exhale overhead. Inhale, arms out to the T. Exhale them down. Again, inhale, arms up to shoulder height. Exhale them overhead. Inhale, arms out to T. Exhale them down. Squeeze those blades. We're going to bring those hands back behind the body. Pulse the pinkies together. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in. On the exhale, those arms come down. Hands come right to our hips. And we're going to take one leg out from the center of the body. We can line up our toes with that front knee, or we can bring that foot forward a little bit, whatever feels more stable. We're going to lower that hip on the straight leg side till the two legs are square. And then keeping that belly drawn in, let's hinge the body forward. And then come up tall. Twice more. Hinge it forward. Take it up. Hinge it forward. And take it up. Arms come out to the side. Big breath in. And we'll side bend as we exhale. Maybe we lift that foot. Inhale up and over. Side bend and reach. Take it up and over. One more time, side bend and reach. Take it up and over. Let's take our hands down to our hips again. Switch it up on the other side. Extend that opposite leg out. Figure out what foot position alignment works best for you. Lower that hip on the straight leg side, and we'll take a big breath in. Breathing out, hinge it forward. Inhale up tall. Again, hinge it forward. Bring it up tall. One more time, hinge. Take it up, arms out to the side, big breath in, and exhale, side bend, reach. Arms come up and over. Side bend, reach, keep that belly drawn in. Up and over. One final time, side bend, reach. Take it up and over. Let's come back to that kneeling position. We'll roll those shoulders back and down for 4. For 3, for 2, and for 1. And let's make our way into a seated position on our mat. We can face the screen. We're going to bring our knees together, feet together. They can be a little bit apart, whatever feels most comfortable. We're going to press our hands into the outsides of the knee joint. Elbows are nice and soft, but tucked in toward our sides. Let's keep that belly drawn in, and we're going to press our hands and thighs equally toward each other. You'll feel the outsides of those hips working a bit. Hold it there. Keep that belly drawn in and straighten your elbows out of it, which is going to angle you slightly back toward that wall behind you. You want to picture a straight line from the crown of your head all the way through that pelvis. Hold it there. Keeping the belly drawn in, let's open an arm to the side and then float it back to the knee. Opposite arm opens. Exhale. Inhale to the knee. Exhale, open. Inhale, center. And exhale, open. Inhale, center. Let's alternate here for 4. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's hang on to those shins, pull yourself up nice and tall, and we're gonna bring our fingertips down by our sides. If your hips feel limited here, you're welcome to walk your feet forward or sit cross-legged, whatever's most comfortable. We'll take a big breath in, feel those sit bones on the mat, and as we exhale, let's take a tall side bend, this time pressing one hand into the floor. Inhale up, other hand to the floor, and exhale, side bend press. One more time to each. Inhale up, exhale and side bend. Inhale up and exhale, side bend. All right, we're gonna come up tall, roll those shoulders back, and let's make our way down onto one of our sides. We're gonna bend those knees, line our heels up with our sit bones, and lift up that waistline a touch. You wanna be able to run your hand between it and the floor. Keep that belly drawn back. We're gonna take our top hand and press it into the mat, lifting up and lowering those knees. Move through at a pace that's working for you. Particularly with this one, it's really easy to hold your breath. Try to find a breathing pattern that works. For me, it's exhaling up, inhaling down. Exhaling up, inhaling down. One more time, exhale up, Inhale down, we'll move into clamshells. Bottom knee presses down, top knee lifts and lowers. We could have that top hand on our abdomen, making sure that belly's drawn in. Could be on your hip, making sure that the movement's coming from below that pelvis, right at that joint. Let's do a couple more here. Knees come down, let's lift our feet and hold them there. Feet stay still. Again, that top knee presses up and down. Good. Keep that waistline lifted. Knees come down and feet come down. Fire hydrant lifts. Again, we'll take that whole top leg up and down this time. Feel the burn through the side of that hip. Good. Bring that leg to hip height. Swing it forward. Press it back. I have my hand right kind of along the outside of my glute. I'm feeling where that motion's coming from, right through the hip as the pelvis and trunk stay nice and still. Good. Let's bicycle. Take that leg forward, pedal it through. Let's go one more time this direction, and then we'll swing it the other way. Here's 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. All right, let's straighten both legs out. We'll take that top leg up and down. Lift from hip height up a little higher. Twice more. Lift and lower. Circle forward for 4, 3, 2. Reverse it. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. See if you can keep your top hand on your hip. You could bring it to the floor if you need more stability. Top leg stays still. Bottom leg comes up and down to meet it. Good. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring them down. Bend those knees up. Pat that hip out. All right, nice work. We're in the home stretch, guys. We're almost done. We'll do our other side and stand up for some balancing. Rest on that bottom arm. Knees are forward. Lifting up that waistline, we'll press our top hand into the floor. Exhale, knees up. Inhale them down. Inhale down. Good. Let's do 3 more here. Last one, knees lift, knees lower, clamshell, top knee lifts. Find that position that works for your hand, that's most helpful or least in the way. Here's 3, 2, and 1. Knees down, feet lift up and stay there. Top knee comes up and down. Again, find that hand position that's working for you. Good, here's 3, and 2, and 1. Knees and feet come down. Fire hydrant lifts. Top leg comes up, lowers to hip height. Keep that waistline lifted. Here's 3, 2, 1. Back to hip height with that knee. Swing that knee forward. Press it back. Forward and back. Sometimes keeping the thumb on your breastbone and the index finger or middle finger on that pubic bone can help you keep that pelvis and trunk nice and still. Press it back. Let's bicycle through for 3, for 2, for 1. Switch it up. Sweep it the other way for 3, for 2, for 1. Straighten out both legs. Hold them there. Top leg comes up and down to hip height. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Here's 3, here's 2, here's 1. Circle. 4, 3, 2. Reverse it. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold that leg up slightly above hip height. Hand stays on the hip or down to the floor. Bring that bottom leg up and down. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take them both down. Bend those knees up. Pat that hip out. All right, let's turn to our backs. Rock those knees side to side. Take them back up to the center. Let's cross one ankle over. We're going to pull those knees into the chest. Let's rock the body slightly away from that screen. Inhale back to the center. Let's switch it up. Cross the other ankle to the knee. Draw up into figure 4. And let's move that body rocket toward the screen. Big breath in. Exhale. Take it back to the middle. Let's uncross, pull those knees into the chest. A nice big hug. Take those feet to the floor. We're going to turn ourselves over. And as we make our way up to standing, before doing so, let's rock through a few cats and cows, resetting that core. Take it back to neutral. Let's walk our hands back toward our legs. And once we have the weight right over the center of that ankle joint, let's stand up nice and tall. All right, we're gonna face that screen. Feet are gonna be hip width apart as we roll those shoulders back and down just a couple times. Anchor those hands down by your sides. And if you need to find something stable to hold on to, you're welcome to do it now. We're gonna stand heel to toe, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, hold. We could add a head turn if you'd like. Let's look forward toward the screen. Shift the weight towards your back leg and let's lift up into single leg balance. Do the best you can here. Hold here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's take that foot down, switch it up, other foot forward. Hold it here. Turn that head if you can. Looking forward, we'll shift our weight to the back leg. Rise up into single leg balance on that opposite side. Hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, take those legs down, shake them out. Bring those feet a little wider apart than our shoulders. We'll start class similarly, or we'll finish class similarly to how we started. Soften up those knees. Let's take a big breath in, arms come up and overhead. We're gonna pause in that Y. Take a few tall side bends up and over to each top corner. For the last 2, let's clasp those palms. Reach them up and over. Inhale up and exhale to the other side. Feet come together. Unclasp those hands, reaching those fingertips up. Big breath in. And we'll breathe out to our center. Happy Friday. Always nice to see you guys and to be here.